Thanks for coming today. We are in the legal research class, and today's date is April 14, 2020. I've gotten a question about the case brief assignment. Yes, I will be grading that. I apologize for the delay. I've just had a lot of additional responsibilities, and so because it's not something that builds. In many of my other classes, it's really important that I grade things quickly because the very next week, people will be doing a similar assignment, and therefore, if they haven't gotten the information about what errors they made during say during week 7, then they're going to make those same errors in week 8 unless I let them know about it. And so some assignments are really time sensitive, and I've been focusing on getting those done and also taping all of these lectures. So that's kind of where we are with that. Also, I'm on a search committee, and so that takes a lot of time. We're searching for a new faculty member, not in the paralegal program, but in a different uh, area, but I'm responsible for doing the interviews and things like that. So I am absolutely going to complete that, and you will have that before you need to do anything with that assignment. I won't require you to do anything with that knowledge until I'm able to grade and return those to you. You're welcome, Caitlin. So that is okay. Those are the only questions that I have yet. So again, are there questions about the Blue Book assignment? Are there questions about the lectures? Maybe there was something I did in the lectures that didn't make sense or seemed inconsistent, or you couldn't follow exactly what buttons I hit on my keyboard, or those types of things. Another thing you may have questions about is the key citing lecture. You may have questions about that material. Okay, so I've gotten 2 additional questions that I wanted to cover separately that I want to share now. One is I've had a student express an interest in focusing more on the textbook. And I certainly encourage folks to read the textbook. The textbook is really dense, and I don't require that you know everything in the textbook. What I try to do, honestly, is cover the stuff that I'm going to test you on in class. And so if a person doesn't like to read the textbook, you can do okay in this class if you just come to class and take good notes and study those notes. But certainly you're going to develop even more mastery if you're reading the textbook carefully. The textbook will have most of the information that I cover in class. Probably the areas where the textbook won't cover will be things that are Texas specific, for example, like the Green Book. Another area would be that, just the nature of a textbook is the textbook can't take you on a Westlaw journey, for example. Much of what we do in this class is skills-based versus not as much fact-based. You need to know facts, but you need to be able to use those facts in a skill. And so I try to organize things that will be kind of skills oriented, and I try to bring that into the class. To the extent I'm successful, great. Maybe I'm not always successful, and I apologize for that. So I don't mean to diminish the value of the book. You certainly can use the book, and that if you find my lectures confusing, my suggestions would be maybe to read the chapter in the textbook first so you have a point of reference. Or secondly, come to my office hours and we can just talk generally about the material, or if you have focused questions, I'll be glad to answer those questions. I certainly realize that people learn in different ways, and I absolutely respect that. So I would say it would be difficult, I think, to get all the material that you want just reading the textbook, but that certainly can be a good resource. So that's in response to that issue. The second issue is about should I post the key to the quizzes. And I am posting the one to quiz number 8. One of the reasons I'm doing that is that I actually show you all the places in that document where you can find the answer. I'm not going to do that for most quizzes, and I'm going to be honest with you that there's kind of three reasons. The first reason is that I want to be able to explain why the answers are correct. It's not that if you missed question 7 or whatever, and you said true and it's false, you simply knowing that it's false may not be that helpful. But knowing why it's false, when I phrase the question a little bit differently in another testing mechanism, now that you know why it's false, you'll be able to apply that knowledge to the new fact pattern. So I don't like to share kind of true false things or even multiple choice things without a context, number one. Number two, many times in my experience, and this is certainly not universal, many times in my experience, students will look only at the answers that they missed. And that's not very helpful because, especially on a true false test, common sense tells you you missed a lot that you got a lot right that you probably were guessing. I mean, after all, it's a 50-50 chance. So if I go through them, then you're being exposed to all of the information about that. And so it kind of helps us avoid the trap of, well, I'm only going to look at the 3 that I missed, when maybe there were 3 that you got right, but you were guessing, or um, you thought it was correct and you were right, but your reasoning was incorrect. The third reason that I don't want to share them is that I can't make them just available to people who took the quiz. I can do that when I hand out quizzes. Um, Obviously I only return quizzes to people who submitted a quiz. But if I turn it on to Canvas, then everyone has access to the quizzes. You may think, well, everyone's going to take the quizzes, but that's not true. We're having a very small number of people actually take quizzes, and everything I can do to motivate people to take quizzes, I want to take advantage of. And so if by not making them public, that's going to encourage a few more people to take the quiz, even when they're maybe not prepared, because even taking a quiz when you're not prepared is still a learning experience. That's one of my motivations. And then the fourth reason, I think I said there were only 3, but there's actually 4, is that while I completely understand that lots of people can't attend these sessions, they've got family responsibilities, they've got work responsibilities, um, but I would like to get as many people to attend at least the taped version as possible. And so this is one of my carrots that I'm able to extend. So I completely understand why people want to see the answers that they got, right or wrong. And that's why I'm happy to make them available during my office hours. Many times people are reluctant to come to my office hours because I'm very mean, as you well know. um, and it's kind of a hassle because you have to come at a certain time and you have to walk on over to my office. But this is so much easier. Number one, I don't think I mean it all. I tend to be very nice to people who come to my office hours because almost no one ever does. And so I really want to cultivate those people and reward those people. Um, and the second thing is that I'm really open. I mean, almost any hour of the day, I'm available to have office hours if I just know you're coming. And of course, you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to dress up. You don't have to turn your camera on. You can be in your pajamas. And you can look at every single question and write down every single question and every single answer. So I just want to flag that for you, that I'm really not taking away that opportunity from you. I'm just changing how it would go. It is true that I do share quizzes. I do return quizzes to students after they have completed them in class. I always debate whether I'm going to do that, and I usually do because students really want them, and many students really can't come to my office hours. It's an imperfect solution then, and something that I think a lot about, whether that's the best thing for encouraging mastery of the material or not. But again, I'm not trying to keep it from you. I'm not trying to hide them. I want you to come to my office hours. I want you to see what the answers are. And so thank you for that question and comment. Yes, Catherine, you can write down every single word on the quizzes. I routinely have people come, and this is also true for the midterm. You can write every single question. The only thing that I ask is that you not take pictures or something along those lines. But yes, absolutely. Everything on the quiz you can write down. Any other questions? And I agree with you, Catherine. They can be very helpful to performing on tests. Okay, well, I'm going to go and show you the survey results and talk about HonorLock, and then I'll come back or actually, let me talk about the Chapter 7 quiz topics. There's really two categories of topics on the quiz. There will be a total of 13 questions. Each question will be worth 2 points, so it's possible to get 26 points. So there's 1 point of extra credit, I guess you could say. And you'll have 10 minutes to take it. There are no, lengthy questions that are going to take a lot of time to read. In terms of the balance between true, false, there's more true, false than multiple choice. All the multiple choice are single answer. I'm going to say there's about 5 multiple choice and about whatever 8 true, false. It could be 6 and 7, but something like that. I think that's close to the. I'm sure there's at least 4 multiple choice that I'm thinking of as I'm speaking. So the topics are types of opinion. So examples of types of opinions would be majority opinion, unanimous opinion, plurality opinion, dissent, uh, memorandum opinion, per curiam opinion, what those terms mean, and then I might present you a fact pattern, and then you decide, well, that particular opinion would fall into this category. So that's about half of the questions. Then the other questions have to do with Westlaw and Keysight. So that Westlaw lecture number 1 would be helpful for that, and then the Keysight lecture would be helpful. You'll notice when you go through the Westlaw lecture number 1, it really is a lot about Keysight. I'm sorry, not about Keysight, it's about the key numbers. And so from the Westlaw perspective, there's kind of 2 topics. Keysight, which is that lecture I just posted over the weekend. And then the Westlaw Net lecture number 1 has to do with key numbers. I apologize, I misspoke there. So key numbers and Keysight, head notes, those types of things are what the topics of that lecture will be. So the quiz, I'm sorry, quiz number 7. I know we've already done 8, but I'm going back and doing 7 to fill in that gap in the numbering. So those are the topics for that. Now I'm going to go and show y'all the survey results that y'all were kind enough to help me out with that. So I'm going to share my screen now. This is the memo or the email, by the way, that I used to prepare for class. So, and then I'm going to go to quizzes. You don't have this button right here. So, and I'm going to go to here. Here we go. So I had 13 individuals help me with it. Thank you very much. That's about a little bit more than half the class. And so the most popular answer was 75-25. So people seem to prefer having a little bit more quizzes than assignments. And so that's what I'll do. I don't know if it'll be exactly 75-25. I had in my mind thought that people wouldn't like quizzes, and so I'm so glad I did the survey because that helps me design things in a smarter way. So thank you for doing that. We still have folks that are concerned about the stability and the reliability of their internet connection. I'm assuming those are the people that voted for 0 or 25%, but actually those don't quite add up. If you have concerns about this, I am happy to proctor any of these quizzes for you. Just let me know and we'll work something out. If it's proctored, I won't have a time limit on it. I think 10 minutes is plenty of time, but I'm glad to proctor them um, if, if that's helpful for you. And so I have it set up where, again, once you answer a question, it's locked. And that way, if your internet does kick you off, let's say on question 3, then we can go back in on question 4 and you can complete it at a later time. So if you do have that internet problem, just send me an email and I'll be able to see how much time you have left in your bank and we can go from there. But if you choose to have me proctor the whole thing just on its own, then I'll be glad to do it without it being timed. 6 of y'all are realistic, 7 of y'all are very naive. I know that there's cheating. There's cheating in all of my classes, and I catch people pretty regularly cheating. And it can be anyone. I've learned that over the years. Some of my very best students and some of my least strong students have cheated. And so right now I'm in the middle of an investigation, not for a paralegal course. It happens. I know it happens, and it's just kind of life. That it's my job to protect the honest students. And the real tragedy when people cheat in my classes is that they don't just cheat and affect themselves, but they cheat and affect the curve. And so that means that if I cheat and uh, get 10 points higher, then that means maybe the class doesn't, would have gotten a 3-point curve at the end of the semester, and now it gets only a 2-point curve. So there's somebody who would have gotten an A but got a B because I cheated. And that's reality, So when you cheat, just keep in mind that you quite possibly are contributing to taking away somebody's grade. And that's why I have to be so careful. Even with all of my efforts, I know they're still cheating, but I can only do so much, especially in this environment. 2 folks say they don't have webcams. We're going to talk more about this later. That is a requirement for HonorLock. So those 2 students, I will be glad to proctor your tests individually, and we'll talk individually about that. So at some point, I'll ask you to reach out to me and we will figure it out. I absolutely am not expecting you to go out and purchase a webcam. And that is not at all a requirement for this course. So thank you for your candor. Okay, so those are the survey results. And I am now going to go to the HonorLock information. So I'm going to make my canvas look like yours. So you'll see on Canvas, I have added an element here called HonorLock. HonorLock is a pretty neat tool. I've attended a seminar on it, and it is similar to ProctorU. So if you've taken an online course with me before, you may have heard me talk about ProctorU. It works in many similar ways to ProctorU, but it has a little bit different technology. Anyway, what you will need to do is you will need to use Google Chrome as your browser to go into HonorLock. So that means that you will need to have a PC or a laptop, or you can use a Chromebook. Most Chromebooks will work with this. And you can have a built-in webcam, or you can have a separate webcam, whatever works in that regard. You will need to get an extension to your Google Chrome. I've already added the extension. Let me just click on HonorLock so you can see. So once you've gotten the extension added, you will see this material. It will show you the practice quiz that you will take. If you take this practice quiz by April 20th, then I will give you an extra point on your overall grade. If you are one of the folks who doesn't have a webcam or has some other problem that HonorLock will not work with, send me an email and I'll come up with an alternative thing that you can do to earn that extra point of credit. But reach out to me in the next couple days so that I can plan for that. So what you're going to do when you take the practice quiz is, it's obviously not for a grade except for the extra credit point. The content will have nothing to do with this course, but you're practicing how to set things up. And obviously you're going to be doing this from your home. Some things that you'll need to think about are going to be, where am I going to take the test? You'll need good lighting. It will need to be an uncluttered place without paper everywhere, without kids running around, that type of thing. And when you are starting, you'll need to take your webcam and do a 360 about the room. This is really important because no one will be watching it live when you're doing it. So they won't be able to say to you, oh, you only did a 180 span around the room, or you did it so fast nobody can see what you were showing us. And so it's really important that you think through clearly. You're going to go very slowly and you're going to do that 360 all the way around, all the way. If it's attached to your laptop, then you'll be turning your laptop. If it's a separate webcam, you might take it off and turn it slowly around. Anyway, this is your opportunity to practice that. So I wanted to flag that for you as an important thing. In the announcements over here, I list I attached a document. So you can see it's right here. Set up HonorLock now. And this is a screenshot of where to find it. But again, this is where the HonorLock button is. And then this is a list of the guidelines to follow. It's pretty complex, and so I suggest you print this out or at least have this up on your screen when you're going through the steps. There will be instructions on the quiz when it's the real test. You don't have to use your student ID, a driver's license, or something like that. A passport would work as well. So anyway, that's what the HonorLock process looks like. I've only set up one practice quiz, but I will most likely set up a second for those who want a second experience with it. So if I hear from folks that, hey, they had it once, but they want another try, just let me know and I'll be glad to do that. So I'm going to stop share at this point and see what questions people have.
If we're in multiple classes, do we need to do all of those things like 3 times? Do I need to take 3 HonorLock quizzes, I guess?
Good question, Catherine. No, you don't have to. Send me an email to remind me though, because I want you to get the extra credit in all of the classes. So I'm not smart enough to remember who's in what class always. And so it would be helpful if you send me an email. So once you've done it, let's say you choose this class to do it in, send me an email saying, hey, and by the way, I'm also in this class of yours. And that will be my prompt to go ahead and give you the extra point. That's an excellent point.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine. I will add that to my other classes so that they will know that they don't need to do it like 12 times. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to show you where to find the Chapter 8 key location. And then I'll come back one more time for questions. So This, by the way, is the module that we're on. We're doing these modules. We're doing Module 5 on Thursday and Module 4 on Thursday. I've already done the lecture for this one. You'll find the lecture up here in the video lectures. I've grouped, I was kind of torn by how to do these. I've grouped things together, but then I've also tried to add my most recent lecture to the bottom. So I'm kind of doing a hybrid of both of that. Hopefully that's not too confusing. We don't have so many lectures, or at least I hope we're not going to have so many that it gets to be confusing. So let me see if I can find where that. Here's where the lecture, I posted lecture, Westlaw lecture number 1 here as well as, here it is. So it's in Module 3 Court Decisions. It's quiz number 8, key. We did this during class, but I did go through, and in green I explain what the answer is, and in yellow I point to the part of the decision that was related to that answer. This actual quiz is from a previous semester, so the questions aren't 100% identical. I tweaked some of the wording this time. So as you go through this, you may be like, that's not exactly what I did. But it's pretty close. There's a couple questions that I changed more than others. So for example, I may have made, this question may have been true on your quiz or something, but the heart of, I think, of each question is there and available for you. If we have quizzes like this, I don't know if we have any more like this, I will post the key in these cases just so you can kind of drill down and see what's going on. You can see here, like, let's say you look at this and you're not sure why 12 is correct. Well, all you would do then is scroll up to find where question 12 is. You could actually just also Control F it to find it, and you can see, this is where I'd find that answer. And I've put the number where you'd find it with each one of the questions. So, any additional questions? Awesome. So I'm going to post this. I hope to see everyone on Thursday. On Thursday, I will field questions about the digest lecture, which I hope to post today or Wednesday. Obviously, if I don't post it, then it won't be available for us to talk about. And then also the Westlaw lecture. And I will go over some of the answers to the midterm on Thursday. Again, if you want to see your individual midterm or any of the quizzes, even if it's a quiz from before we were taken out of school, I can show you the key. I may not have your quiz if I've already handed it back to you, but I'm happy to show you all those. You can record every single answer if you would like to. I have people do that pretty regularly. That's actually the main reason people come to my office hours, is to look at the keys. Any other questions? Awesome. Well, it was so lovely hearing from y'all. Thank you so much for coming, and I will see you on Thursday. Take care.